Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back. If you are new here, what up? Okay, so today we're going to be going a little bit more in depth about the Primarchs for Atlas. I had a lot of people ask me to do a more in-depth kind of tutorial on the Primarchs and say like what they can use their Primarchs to attack. So we're going to do that today. So first we're going to start with the Taunter, mid defense, low attack. This guy is mainly for his ability. You're not going to use him for defense or attack. The Taunter is a Primarch for the very best bases on your team. So if the best base on your team is a 500 and like a 450, they're the ones who are going to need that Taunter. You're not going to want to have a Taunter if you're like a level 200, unless you're the top base on your team, then maybe you do. But the Taunter basically shields the rest of your team from attacks. So it redirects attacks on your team to you. So if an enemy comes to your castle and wants to hit the Seizure that's sitting on your castle, they're going to have to go through your Taunter to get to that Seizure unless they bring a Trapper to cancel the taunt. Or if they load more troops than your Taunter has. So you can bypass a Taunter in two ways, and that is, well, three technically. Either hitting it to destroy the taunt with, it'll show at the bottom right, I believe, how many troops you need to kill to destroy the taunt for a certain amount of time. And then you can trap it with a Trapper, so that cancels the taunt. And then if you load more troops than the Taunter has, so say the Taunter has 10k troops, if you load 11 or 12k, you can basically hit over that Taunter and go ahead and hit whatever you want, basically. Defending Taunters is important because once they're taken out, the rest of your team can be hit by anyone at any time. There's no shield on them basically anymore. So if four people on your team have Taunters, like the four best bases on your team have Taunters, they have to either trap or take out all four of those before they can hit anyone else on your team. So if you're quick to defend, they're busy either trapping or taking out your Taunters while your team basically gets to hit them if they don't have any Taunters or if they just have one or something. Then you kind of have free reign to take them out before they take you out, essentially. So the Taunter can attack Seizures, but nothing else pretty much, because the Taunter has a really low attack power, and Seizures have really low defense power. So I really wouldn't be hitting Destroyers or Trappers. Definitely don't hit those with the Taunter. And always make sure that your attack power is greater or equal to their defense power, or you're going to lose a ton of troops. That is definitely one thing to look out for, no matter what Primarch you're using, is that your attack power is greater than their defense power, because that is what determines how many troops you lose and stuff. So definitely look at that, no matter if you're using a Trapper or a Seizure or a Taunter. Check that out before you hit. Next Primarch we have is the Trapper. It used to be called the Rusher. It is an extremely high defense Primarch, but it has basically no attack. The Trappers are for everyone. Everyone should have a Trapper. The high defense stats, they just deter anyone from coming to your castle and annoying you. The Trap ability cancels out Taunters, and you can cycle trap the Taunter so that your team can get through, meaning when your trap comes off of cooldown, you can just trap it again. And then you can also trap other players and basically make them hit you, which is super annoying if you're like a level 600 and you keep getting trapped by like a level 200 that gives you 0 glory. A lot of times people don't want to hit for 0 glory. Some people don't care if they have like 2 million troops or something. They're going to wipe you. But it definitely slows down your bigger players from being taken out. So even if you're a low level and just starting an Atlas, you can still annoy a ton of people with a Trapper. And it is, especially if you have a max Trapper, the defense is so high, especially if you get the seasonal boost on it as well. The defense power is so high, basically the only thing that can hit you is a max Seizure with a boost, but it still loses so many troops. So the Taunter, in my opinion, is one of the best Primarchs that you can have for Atlas, no matter what your level is. Because if you have a max Trapper, you can annoy so many people. So yeah, definitely get a Trapper. Now, just like the Taunter, the Trapper basically has no attack. So the only thing you're going to want to be hitting are Seizures, but make sure that your attack power is equal to or higher than their defense power, because if you have like 60 attack power and they have 120 defense power, you're basically going to kill nothing and lose a ton of troops. So definitely check on that and make sure that you have more attack than they have defense. Or if they're equal, that's okay. You're going to lose a little bit more troops, but you're going to kill, about the same amount. So just make sure that you're going to get a good hit in, because you don't want to lose a ton of troops by only killing 200 troops of theirs and losing 6k of yours or something. The Destroyer, you basically have an even amount of defense and attack with the Destroyer. They're a good choice if you find yourself being counter hit a ton when you're raiding or sniping, and you go into the battle and you're not fast enough to kill them first, basically, and they hit you back. If you're finding yourself getting hit back a ton, the Destroyer has more defense power than like a Seizure would. So even though it has a little bit less attack, it's still a decent amount of attack to be able to hit a lot of Primarchs. Personally, I used a Destroyer for a very, very long time before I switched to a Seizure, because when I was running my own team, I was basically one of the biggest bases on my team. And so I was always targeted and I was always getting hit. So at least with my Destroyer, I wasn't bleeding as much. Now, the Destroyer doesn't have any passive ability, so you can't trap or taunt or siege. It doesn't have anything that helps you out. It is literally just an attacking, defending Primarch. It can hit pretty much anything as long as you follow the golden rule of checking your attack versus their defense power so that you don't lose a butt ton of troops. And then last, but definitely not least, is the Seizure. It has extremely high attack and very low defense. It's basically a glass cannon in a Primarch form. The ability that it has is Siege, which means if you have a ton of Siegers on a castle, it will debuff their fort boost. And so it'll help you bring their fort level down, and their Primarch boost that they get for having a built-up fort will decrease as well. So they'll lose a little bit of attack power and defense power as well. It doesn't have much to protect it. So if you get hit, you're going to lose a lot. A Seizure is really good for raids where there are a bunch of Taunters protecting you, other players protecting you, trappers, Taunters that can deflect some of that, some of the incoming hits on you. But if you're just sniping, you have to be quick, because if you get hit back while sniping, you're losing everything, pretty much. There's nothing you can really do at that point, because somebody with like a max trapper or a max taunter that's sitting on that castle that you're trying to snipe can easily wipe you, because you don't have any defense power to protect you. So a Seizure is great for raids, great for like conquers where you have tons of trappers and taunters to protect you, but it really isn't a Primarch that you're going to want to go out with and raid if there aren't any protective Primarchs. That would be where your Destroyer would come in, and you could use the Destroyer to kill things. You're not going to have as much attack power, but if you got hit, you wouldn't lose as much, basically. So the Seizure is very, very high hitting, very, very strong, and a lot of people use it. But just be careful and protect yourself. And if you're like leveling up your Seizure, make sure to check that attack and defense power, because even though your Seizure has a lot of attack, max Taunters and trappers and even Destroyers have a good amount of defense too. So just make sure you're checking that every time so that you don't lose a ton of troops. So that is it for this video. If there is anything specific in Atlas that you want to see or you want broken down for you, I know there are a ton of new Atlas people right now, let me know so that I can put that on my list of things to make. A lot of people asked for a Primarch breakdown, so that is why I am doing a Primarch breakdown. So whatever you ask for, I put it on a list and I will get to it. I'm doing these weekly just until I run out of ideas, I guess. So let me know what you want to see about Atlas, what you want to learn. A lot of my other videos will be about like castle management, getting your first castle. I will do one about raids and raiding as a team to help you guys out. But if there's anything specific that you need broken down, maybe like riders or gear or something, let me know and I will break it down for you and we will get it done. I'm also doing the weekly flyer series now, so if you have any good runs that you want to showcase your flying, send them to me online, send them to me on Instagram, wherever you want to DM me, I will answer. Even if you want to like say hey in game, that's cool too. But yeah, anything specific that you want to see, let me know, and I will get to it. I also have some more Calivore footage coming out soon, and if you see this video before whatever time I stream, probably like 2 p.m. Central, I'll be streaming today, so come say hi. All right, I'm gonna go and eat because I'm hungry. Okay, bye.